Brittany was just a fake person in general. Like, it was definitely my natural interactions with house guests, and I did not want to come off like I was only protecting black people in the game. I will say that I think my emotions were very high. Me and her both do not like no floaters.
Come on, Jazz. Rachel Riley.
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. And today we'll be looking at Jasmine Davis exit interviews from Big Brother. Did the split house end and ruin her game?
I would like to give a shout out to Showbiz Cheat Sheet, Catherine Dunn, and the Winner Circle. All links to the YouTube will be down in the description box.
Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Yeah, let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, want it, securing the bag.
So my format will be pretty simple. We will listen to her responses to the questions asked by the interviewers, and I will interject myself within each question just to give my feedback on what we're hearing. And I would like to clarify that these are not the full interviews. Links will be down in the description box. And first up, Showbiz Cheat Sheet.
Question number 1. It seemed like a major aspect of your gameplay was using sympathy. This came up with you recovering from your sprain by having people who you weren't on good terms with, like Taylor, cook for you. You asked for more time before going on slop because of your sprain, even if that meant Michael would be on slop for his birthday. Then you told people you wanted to stay in the house for your birthday. Was any of this conscious game strategy, or was this just your natural interactions with house guests?
It was definitely my natural interactions with house guests. I always wanted to celebrate my birthday in the house, not only for myself, but for my father. We share a birthday, and we always used to talk about possibly playing the game one day, and that if it was around my birthday, then, oh my gosh, I would get to celebrate a birthday in the Big Brother house. And so with this being my birthday turning 30, as well as my first birthday without my father, it was very monumental to me to celebrate my birthday in the Big Brother house. So, those were just natural interactions. Some people wanted to, be nice and, cook for me and just help me out. I'm a very independent person, and it was actually a big struggle for me to allow people to do stuff for me. So it wasn't about sympathy in the beginning. It was more towards the end where I was like, well, let me just milk this out as long as I can at the end, because I saw how people or house guests were reacting to me. But no, it was all just natural for me.
So here's the thing about Jasmine. I wish she would have just said, yes, I use my leg injury or my ankle injury as a strategy to provoke sympathy, because that's really what it was. It was a situation where I feel like more people wanted Jasmine out because she was annoying and a little bit self-centered. And she made a comment that, well, people, they wanted to cook for me and they wanted to do no, I don't think that's what people wanted to do. I could have sworn, correct me if I'm wrong, that didn't Jasmine ask people to do stuff? Like, hey, y'all want me to make cupcakes? Hey, Taylor, would you mind cooking for me? Would you mind rubbing my back? Would you mind rubbing my foot on my ankle? Would you mind getting that for me since I can't do it because my ankle? We're not about to sit here and act like she didn't take advantage of that ankle being quote unquote twisted.
Now, the next question is, you told everyone in the house to please not let Turner win. How serious were you about that, and why?
I will say that I think my emotions were very high when I was talking to a few of the house guests in my last week, simply because it was a lot being put on me, and I already knew that, it wasn't looking good for me. I would say if he has the best game after the season has played out, then I definitely think that if they think it's best for him to win, then they should definitely make that judgment call on their own. So I think a lot of it was emotion, but at the end of the day, I love Big Brother and I love the game, and I think that the best player should win.
As a Big Brother super fan, I think we all can agree that we want the best player to win, quote unquote, right now, Michael, right? But here's the thing, Jasmine, if you felt that you didn't want Turner to win, you need to stand on it. Because to be honest, the feeling is probably mutual with Turner. Y'all were on festy besties, which to be honest, y'all are frenemies, because he despised you just as much as you probably despised him. And it's just like, you didn't want him to win. You said it, you meant it. And it's like one of the situations, I would have really wanted her to be forthright, because that would let me know that, okay, cool, we know she's not going to vote for Turner if he makes it to the final two. And you know, it's not politically correct, where I feel like a lot of people that go on these interviews try to be very politically correct, i.e. Nicole, i.e. Daniel. Like they try to be like, well, you know, that's not what I meant. But it's just like, stand it. If you don't want him to win, you don't want him to win. Like, I'm not mad at that. That's an honest opinion.
Your game was comparable to Christmas Abbott, who also got hurt during horse season and had to use the scooter. She made it to third place because people wanted to drag along an injured player for competitions. Do you think there is anything you could have done differently to follow that same path?
No, I just don't think it's in me to basically try to, not go hard if I can. I think that even while I was injured, I was able to win that one HOH, basically two comps to win HOH, to kind of show people like, yes, I may be injured, but I still have a lot of fight in me. I would have not wanted to be like completely dragged until the entire end without doing anything. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of glad people didn't, because it made me feel like I had to play this game and I couldn't just float by till the end.
So I think we all see the obvious similarities, that they both injured like their leg or leg areas and like had to be on scooters and this, that, and the third. But I feel like Christmas was a more dominating physical threat in comparison to Jasmine. Even though she was injured, she did win HOH in week 8 and week 10. So I mean, Jasmine did win HOH injured as well. But I feel like Christmas was more of a like physical, like just look at her physique, physical threat. But if I had to pick over Christmas and Jasmine, I'll pick Jasmine's personality way more over Christmas. But like Jasmine has like a lying problem. I mean, who doesn't in Big Brother? But she has a lying problem. Christmas, it just was just nasty the way she came at people, i.e. Davon Bailey. I would never get over that.
Now, the last question.
Mhm.
Taylor made it known she didn't want to target other Black women in the house.
Mhm.
You didn't feel the same way because you did put Taylor on the block and refused to work with her. What went through your mind knowing you had this kind of loyalty from someone in the house and they were making it known to other house guests? Was this a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't necessarily think it was a good or a bad thing. I think that, I wish Taylor would have been more vocal coming into the house, and also would have tried to spend more time with just the girls in general. When we have regular conversation powwows and stuff like that, I would have been able to get to know her, but she did often opt to go hang with the guys. So I just didn't know what her strategy was moving forward in that game. But also I knew because of last season, I had to play my cards correctly, and I did not want to come off like I was only protecting Black people in the game, to be completely honest. And so in order for me to move my game further, I needed to make sure that it was clear that, hey, this is a possibility. I have a, level game, and, I can play this game just like y'all can. And it's not the same as last season. However, I did not put her on the block knowing that she would go home. I knew that I had the votes to get out my real target, which was Pooch at the time. So, earlier in the season, because I do think she's a fantastic, amazing Black woman, and I really appreciate her being loyal to me. But I just think we had different game strategies coming in.
This is something that I said in one of my videos before. I want future POC players to know, like, to make that statement, you have to know that, yes, where I might not want to vote you out or put you on the block, there's somebody else that will. Like, not everybody's going to hold that true, because at the end of the day, this is a game. Outside of race, outside of gender, outside of social status, religion, any other demographic, outside of all of that. But look at Kyle. When Taylor made that statement, it made Kyle assume that now everybody in there, all the POC people, were working together, and he wanted to start a white alliance. Where I felt in the cookout situation, it made sense because there has never been a Black winner. So they did something that no other group of people could do. Those people were in the house for a reason, and I will always respect that down. Now, I get where Jasmine's coming from with this, because it's a hard thing, and I respect Taylor 100% for making that decision. Would it be my decision? I don't know. I'll have to play and see who I gel with and connect with, because I'll connect with somebody else. I connect with that person. That's just on period. And remember, I always say this in my videos. If I play Big Brother, I'm playing to win that money. Okay? But Jasmine, you can't sit up here and act like you was just like miss. Oh my God, Taylor was just so great, girl. You was talking to Taylor with everybody else from week 1, week 2, and week 3. When you became HOH, you only went after Pooch because of Amira. You didn't go after Pooch off of your own volition. You went after Pooch because Amira put it in everybody's brain. Like, hey, let's go after Pooch since he put himself on the block. You didn't come up with the idea. Your idea was to throw Taylor out. Just to clarify, ma'am. Next up, we have the winner circle.
Do this, but for those of you that this may be your first time, we do this to get a good gauge as to who they may vote for at the end and who maybe they will not vote for.
Ooh, I think that Michael is playing the best game in the house so far. He's smart, strategic, and now he has more people that he's aligned with, and he's a comp beast. Yeah, for sure. And then I think Joseph is probably going to follow me outside to the jury house, because I just don't think that, they're going to keep him around much longer. But he is in a big alliance now, so that might help him a little bit because he has, 2 of his alliance members with him. But I don't know. I kind of hope it's for, Joseph for my reasons as well, because he was one of the people that let, people know what I had going on. So I'm hoping it's Joseph.
Okay, I think we all can see that Michael is hands down playing the best game currently, but the better he do, the bigger the target is on his back. So at some point, it's just like the higher you go, the harder you're gonna fall, because anybody in the house should, if you have common sense, take a shot at Michael. It's just simple. And at this point, if anybody sits in that chair beside Michael, they will lose. They will lose that $750,000. Period. And my thought process, I could be in an alliance with Michael. My thought process will be, I have to get Michael out because we're all even. It's like even playing field. There's only 3 people in that house that haven't been HOH. And that's Brittany, Kyle, and Alyssa. Everybody else has been HOH. So it's pretty even across the board. Whereas, like, if you're really trying to win that money, you really want to win Big Brother, you have to get rid of Michael. It doesn't matter if he's part of your alliance, and at the end of the day, leftovers is over. So it's like you have to start playing strategic instead of playing loyal. Yes, you can be loyal to a fault, but at the end of the day, you can't win this money.
You mentioned that you were playing up your ankle for sympathy, but how much pain were you actually in, or was it more so people didn't view you as a threat? Because she was a threat in the house.
No, I was actually in a lot of pain. It was a level 4 sprain. It was almost a break. And, I was really, really struggling those first few weeks. I'm still actually sore, still trying to learn how to walk. So, I definitely played it up towards the end simply because, why not? This could be a strategy that could possibly help my game. But no, I actually didn't think about it, coming off as if I'm not a threat until the very end, because I wanted to come in and show that I was a strong person, a strong woman, that people would want to keep around. But it all worked out the way it did.
I think that Jasmine was a threat, but a threat in a way that she wouldn't mind taking the shot at someone on her HOH. I feel like Jasmine would have put up Taylor and put up Monty, or put up Michael and put up Brittany. She wouldn't mind taking the shot. Where I feel like Taylor will be a little bit more frantic because she's very loyal. And I think Michael knows that she's loyal. But in terms of Jasmine, I feel that her social game declined. And in the beginning, I felt like she was a good social player. She got along with everyone. But her social game declined after the whole birthday situation and the muffin gate and all this other situations, where I feel like the leftovers were talking about Jasmine a lot due to the instigation of Turner. And I feel like that really threw a lot of people off, which made her the leftovers target. Turner wanted Jasmine out bad, which persuaded the leftovers to get rid of her. So if it wasn't for Turner, to be honest, Jasmine wouldn't have been a bigger target in the house. That was the main priority because of Turner.
Let's go right into the next one. The next question, we asked her about the twist. And so we asked her, you went home during the week of a huge twist. Do you feel that if not for the twist, you would have stayed in the house?
Absolutely. I feel like the twist really messed up my game because I also feel like, how the order of the picking was. Like, I do feel like Terrence probably would have picked me to go on his side. And yeah, I would have been with the ants and the roaches outside, but I felt like I really would have been safe. And, when Michael picked me, I knew that, it was going to be a real rough, last week for me, to be completely honest. And I was like, oh man, this journey is not going to be easy. And I know I'm the target.
So I definitely feel like she got the question confused, because if the twist never happened, Michael would have been the HOH, which, like I just said, Turner persuaded that leftovers to be go after Jasmine. So I feel like Jasmine would have been the target regardless. And let's say she would have won POV. Okay, cool, great. The leftovers would still been intact. Kyle wouldn't have flipped, and she would have been out eventually, regardless of the twist or not. This twist just gave everyone a clearer path and less options. So she was just the quickest option.
Move on. I'm like, this person has a picture of a Big Brother player that changes every year. Relax. Anyway, we hit Jasmine with the last question. Really, really important question here. This is a big one.
The big one.
We know you've watched the show before. Now that you played, name 3 former house guests that you think your game resembles. I have not listened to this answer. This is going to be the first time I'm hearing it. I'm excited.
Let's do it. I haven't listened to it either, so we'll hear.
Well, first, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I think that it resembles Christmas a lot because obviously she got hurt, although we're a little different because the day that I got hurt, I won an HOH. But ultimately having to go through that game and literally, be in pain we have a lot of similarities there. Secondly, I would have to say Davon, because Davon was always, trying to convince people and on her side of the house, like what to do, how to do it, and how to say it. And I feel like I did that a lot with the people that I was aligned with.
This is almost blasphemy because her gameplay was nowhere near Davon. I felt like Davon's first go round, Davon was a very outspoken player. She was very perceptive, observant, and she knew how to keep things close to chest. But Davon is a dynamic player. Like, she speaks her mind, and that's something that Jasmine didn't do. I wish that Jasmine, when she had a problem with someone, she would go to them to discuss her grievances with them, but she never did that. She went behind their back, talk shit. I mean, I get it. It's Big Brother. But there's a way to just like, hey, this really, on a personal level, I felt offended by this. Like, can we talk about it? She wouldn't even do that. And it was just weird and fake.
And lastly, I would have to say Rachel, because me and her both do not like no floaters. So there's that.
All right, y'all saw my reaction. So this to Jasmine, it might have been cute to say, but Jasmine, I'm sorry. You were the epitome of a floater. You, Indy, and Alyssa were the treats amigos. Y'all were floaters. And I could throw Terrence in there too. The only reason I would give you and Terrence some grace is because y'all won HOH and y'all actually got out 2 potential threats in the house. While Rachel Riley wasn't my favorite player by any means and was irritating, I feel like these are the players that she wanted to be like. Very outgoing, loud, boisterous, and she was nothing like that. Nothing of the sort. And here's a theory. Let's say she didn't watch Big Brother like that. Let's say she only watched last season and the season before. Like, Davon, Rachel are 2 big names in the Big Brother, and like 2 females that I feel like a lot of people would want to emulate their game by. But to actively say like, yeah, my game that I played was like theirs, delusion.
Come on, Jazz. Rachel Riley.
Next up, Catherine Dunn, YouTube channel.
You rolled your eyes at Brittany's goodbye message. What's the tea there?
Honestly, I just think that Brittany was just a fake person in general. Like, I just felt like she would try to lie and her acting was horrible and she was just trying to do too much. And I just really did not like how she played the game. I felt like she was hiding behind Michael a lot of the time in the game and floating her way by, but using him as the floaty. And I really just didn't like that gameplay from her. But personally, I think Brittany's a great person. I just think her game was just not something that I would have chosen to do.
So I'm on the fence thinking about if Brittany is a floater or a strategical mastermind. Someone brought it up in my last video saying, like, basically Michael is Brittany's shield and she hasn't proved herself none in this game. And I've been waiting this whole time. Like, I feel like she's coming up with something. I feel like she has a strategy. What is it? And let's say she go home this week. If Brittany goes home this week, then she is probably one of the biggest floaters in the game, to be honest. But I don't know. I just feel like there's something else that can be there. Like, what can she do? Like, does she survive this week? Could she win HOH? Could she, like, what can she do? You know what I'm saying? And outside of Michael, I can only see 3 people that are in the lead if Michael leaves to win. That's Kyle, Monty, Taylor. Those are the only 3 that I feel like has some type of reason to win. I feel like if Brittany stays this week, one thing that could put her in the leaderboard for me is if she actually takes out Michael. That would be one of the biggest gags of the entire season. If Brittany was the one to take out Michael, I'll be speechless. But I did say that Brittany was playing a snaky game, with her getting a lot of information, sitting in the rooms, playing both sides. I mean, I could definitely see it.
And finally, please give us your best conspiracy for what you think will happen between now and the end of the game.
I'm going to think that someone is going to try to break up Michael and Brittany because they are super close. And I feel like they are so close that people know that they would need to split them up because they would take each other to the end. And it's very noticeable. So I'm just think that somebody's gonna slide in there like a snail and break Michael and Brittany up.
See, throughout this interview, Jasmine proved that she's not all dumb. Like, she seemed very intuitive, and I can respect that about her. But I also agree. I feel like they have to go after Michael and Brittany. If they don't, they'll be dumb. Like, if Turner doesn't go after Michael or Brittany, they'll be dumb. And whoever takes out Michael will literally be the leader and, like, the one to beat. Because Michael, that's what is it when people go hunting? That's the game. That's the big game. Literally, Michael is the big target, and he made himself a big target. Where I feel like Monty is really moving, like, really stealthy. Kyle's acting frantic. He's like just going all over the place. Terrence is really getting his stride, and I can respect that. Alyssa, she's still picking daisies, and Turner's really playing. It's weird because I feel like he's doing stuff that he didn't have to do. Like, you didn't have to turn on Michael and Brittany and Taylor. There was no point. You're HOH. But I don't know. I feel like Turner's starting to play a snaky ass game, and I really don't like it. But it is what it is. All right, I'm going to make my prediction. I feel like Michael's going home next week or this week. Brittany will be going home soon. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but it depends. I feel like they're interchangeable. If Taylor wins HOH, I feel like Taylor will go after either Kyle or Monty. She will put Kyle on the block, but Alyssa will go home. But I would keep Alyssa to the end because I want Alyssa to sit right beside me while I count my $750,000 buckaroos all the way to the motherfucking bank. Okay? What do you guys think about Jasmine's comments? Do you agree with what she's saying, or do you strongly disagree? I feel like some of the stuff Jasmine was saying was because she was trying to be politically correct, but that wasn't how she really felt. But thank you all for listening. The next video should be coming out very soon. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.